Good afternoon. This is Pamela, and you're listening to Watchman on the Pod. All right, we're going to pick back up in the third letter. This is part two from Jeremiah Crowley to Pope Pius X. Here we go. There was arrested on July 26, 1912 at 10:15 p.m. as the police official records very clearly show, one John Smith, resident, Cheviot, Ohio. He gave his occupation as clerk and his age as 28. The arresting officer was George Gerwe. The officer in charge of this police station was Lieutenant Jacob Conver. John Smith's real name is Reverend Father Otto B. Oyer of St. Martin's Church, Cincinnati, Ohio. He had been carried from a saloon, southeast corner, Harrison and Spring Grove Avenues, in a state of intoxication, which had reduced him almost to helplessness. Placed at first by patrolman Gerwe and an unknown citizen in a hallway of the Buck Building at southwest corner of Harrison and Spring Grove Avenues. He befouled himself, vomited on the floor, and created such a stench about the place that a lady residing on the third floor, after making investigation to discovering the real facts of the case, called up the 5th District Police Station and threatened to notify the Chief of Police unless the vile drunken priest was at once taken out of the place. The Lieutenant Conver directed the patrol to gather in Father Oyer, who at the police station registered as John Smith. Having been gathered in for safekeeping only, Father Oyer was led out in the morning to go and sin some more. Xenia, Ohio, not to be outdone by Dayton or Troy or Cincinnati, offers for consideration one Reverend Father F.P. Quinn, who in Kennedy's official Catholic directory for 1913 registers as pastor of St. Bridget's, Xenia, Ohio, where, besides a church, he has a parochial school conducted by 5 Sisters of Charity, having in charge 132 pupils. What manner of instruction a school under Quinn's direction and control can impart will be made evident by the police record of Quinn, taken from the official papers on file in Cincinnati Police Headquarters. Father Quinn, a frequent visitor to Cincinnati and patron of his gin mills and houses of prostitution, fell into the hands of this city's police June 3, 1913, at 4:15 a.m. The charge registered against Quinn is that of disorderly conduct, his occupation that of priest Catholic. He was arrested in Bernice Parker's notorious dive, 307 Longworth Street. The police report of the case is signed by Lieutenant August Cadell, officer in charge. The disturbance leading to Quinn's arrest on that date arose out of his refusal to meet the financial terms of the landlady. He had paid the Parker woman $5 to take out one of the girls in a taxicab. Returning to the house on Longworth Street, he offered $5 in addition to stay all night. The Parker woman demanded $10, but finally yielded for peace sake to Quinn's offer. The girl he wanted, however, fearing physical injury from Quinn, refused to spend the night with him. Quinn, therefore, started a roughhouse, breaking up furniture and gas fixtures till the police patrol took him to the station. The official record shows that Priest Quinn was released on bond at 6:55 a.m. June 3, 1913, but failed to appear for trial at 9 a.m., sending to Judge Arthur Frick a statement that he was ill from acute gastritis. Judge Frick thereupon fictitiously remarked on the suddenness with which these fellows took acute gastritis to escape appearance in court. The case was continued till July 10, 1913. The testimony offered by Bernice Parker was to the effect that this priest had been a frequent visitor to her house of prostitution and had been on several occasions during his 8 years of visits to the place refused admission because of his brutal treatment of the girls and his generally violent conduct. Quinn had, on this particular occasion, June 3rd, 1913, besides breaking up the furniture, etc., struck one of the girls in the Parker home and driven all the women under cover to a room which they feared he might break into. Searched at the police station, a pint bottle of whiskey was found on him, and he fought hard to retain it. When the case was finally heard, July 10th, 1913, there was no prosecution, and Priest Quinn escaped with a fine of $2, covering the cost in the case. Concerning Priest Oyer and Quinn is, I repeat, taken from police and court records. The press of Cincinnati was studiously silent on these men's gross misconduct. Had either been a minister of a Protestant denomination, columns of notoriety had been given their lapses. One Cincinnati paper only gave brief mention to Quinn's indecencies and then described the culprit as merely saying he was a priest. No uncommon thing is it for priests in large cities such as New York, Chicago, San Francisco, and New Orleans to spend nights in houses of ill fame and ascend altars next morning in parish and convent chapels to say Holy Mass. The country priests come into the cities for lustful gratification. The city priest moves away for like purposes, a few blocks from his ordinary place of residence. Rome, Rome, lust and hypocrisy are thy name. Now come Archbishop Moeller, who, with dozens of such lecherous men under his charge, issuing orders against tango dancing. The Cincinnati Evening Post, August 5th, 1913, publishes the following. Catholics are told to shun tango dancing, or dances, I should say. Any Cincinnati Catholic who may dance the tango, the turkey trot, and other objectionable glides cannot obtain forgiveness of their sins, according to an announcement made Tuesday by Archbishop Henry Moeller. The statement of the Archbishop endorses the stand of Bishop Thomas B. Brine of Nashville, who declared, should any priest attempt to absolve such a penitent, the absolution would be worthless, and the confession would be a curse rather than a blessing. Bishop Byron, that's his name, ordered his priests not to forgive those who do those dances and repeat the sin after confessing it. Some time ago, I warned Catholics, Archbishop, see this, I think there was some space here, the aide, Archbishop Moeller. There is no doubt that the dances in question are immoral. Forgive me. Let me back up and redo it. Some time ago, I warned Catholics, he had Archbishop Moeller. There is no doubt that the dances in question are immoral. Forgiveness for sin can only be given by priests to those who are truly penitent and resolve never again to commit sin. I have issued no order to the effect, but every clergyman in my archdiocese has the right to refuse to absolve those persons who persist in performing immoral dances. Pittsburgh Catholic, July 17, 1913, offers the following. Bishop Byron's edict. Reverend Bishop Byron of Nashville, Tennessee, has put the ban of his official censure on animal dances, turkey trot, tango, bunny hug. His edict was read from every Catholic pulpit in the diocese on Sunday, June 29th. It is the most drastic yet recorded in the fight against rag dancing. To turkey trot and remain a Catholic is now practically a matter of impossibility. The edict bars all offenders from participating in the sacraments. Bishop Byron in his edict said that the new dances were an immoral amusement and the approximate occasion of sin. While they rarely failed, he declared to affect the dancers. Laity may not dance the turkey trot, tango, or the bunny hug. The priest may, however, bring the blush of shame even to red light women by monstrosities in their resorts that none save a satanic disciple of highest degree could perpetuate. Why not? Relate Moeller and Byron lasso your libidinous priest for forbidding turkey trot, the tango, the bunny hug, the laity. Think of it. The priest receives a purse full of cash from weeping, credulous poor people to say masses for the release of their deceased kindred from purgatory, and forthwith he himself off to the red light patch to throw away his money, consecrated by the tears of unselfish love, upon the scarlet women of infamy. Like instances of up-to-date priestly rottenness in all parts of the world could be related ad infinitum. There is, Holy Father, coming in America an awakening that will shake the religious world to its lowest foundations. That awakening is modestly, clearly forecasted by the Western Christian Advocate, Cincinnati, February 12, 1913. On a recent Sunday evening, we attended a service in one of our churches to hear a sermon on ecclesiastical tyranny or Roman Catholicism. We went through curiosity as well as interest in the subject. This was the closing theme of a series the pastor had been giving his people. Many good results, among them a splendid increase in his Sunday evening congregation. We were told the church would be crowded to the door, that many people were interested in the subject, that the pastor would have a great opportunity to preach the word. That was a service we wanted to attend. A great crowd has already appealed to us, and a sensational theme is not against our taste. As predicted, the church was crowded even to the door. People were turned away. As we sat with the pastor before the multitude of faces, we kept asking questions of ourselves. Why this demonstration? Are all these people interested in the subject tonight? What has brought them here? Is this the regular congregation built up by the eminence of the pastor? Is it the sensational character of the subject of the sermon? Ecclesiastical tyranny? Has that drawing power? No, surely. Is it the last part of the subject, Roman Catholicism? Is that growing to be a live topic? Is that the reason this multitude of men and women are here tonight? If so, then this pastor has discovered a live subject for the Protestant pulpit. Does this mean that men are awakening to the heritage of Protestantism? If so, again, let us say it. Let this note ring out with loud acclaim across the land. Here is where we need to rally our forces. Protestantism was once a unit in doctrine and life. We stood joined compactly under one standard and to one end until denominationalism came to threaten our dissolution. We witness today the fiercest struggle and the darkest problems Christianity has ever faced, notwithstanding the enforced optimism which at times is urged upon us. The commendation that may be given us and the one center of hope is that we are working harder at the solution of our problems than ever it was given man to toil for any cause. Only in this lies the cause for optimism. Our embarrassments are not those of Catholicism, and she witnesses our discomfiture, takes inward pleasure, and registers what she thinks is the disintegration of her old antagonist, expressing the complacent faith that the Church of God stands sure. A candid review of the present conditions of Protestantism assures the verdict that this heritage, once given unto men, seems to be no longer appreciated. It is because we no longer lay emphasis there. Is it because we no longer lay emphasis there? Are we like those who enjoy and squander their patrimony without counting its cost to those who gave it, neither our loss without it? It is verily true that the interests of denominationalism have overshadowed the very movement which gave us birth. Better a thousand times sink denominationalism in the sea of oblivion than to lose the heritage bought so dearly by the fathers of Protestantism. Why not a revival of the old doctrines of not Lutheran, forgive me, of Luther and Wycliffe, John Huss, and Savonarola? Why not a welcoming of the old champions of justification by faith and the priesthood of every believer? Why not a return to the heights of faith in Jesus Christ, whose atoning grace can be received by faith without any intermediary? Why not a revival of Protestantism? Why not? Yes, why not? Men and women will hear that call. They will rally in defense of that heritage if the pulpit will awaken to the opportunity. How many of that great audience will come again? How many of them will appreciate the fact that they are Protestants? Many of them look upon the Catholic Church with dread and fear and never think of taking any relation to the Protestant Church. Many of them never think of joining the forces of the pastor whose words they applauded. Here is their culpability. They are Protestants, but not of the Protestant Church. They enjoy the civil liberty he has brought for them. And because of the recreant attitude toward her, the very cause for which her son suffered losses, its authority over men loses. Let me say that again. Forgive me. They enjoy the civil liberty she has bought for them. And because of the recreant attitude toward her, the very cause for which her son suffered loses its authority over men. Can we not call these multitudes back to our ranks? Can they not be led to see the obligation they owe the church and the heritage which is slipping away because of Protestantism is through their hands losing its religious character and becoming a civil force? We predict an awakening in this line in the next few years. This heritage must not be surrendered. If it proves a live and pulsating subject, the men of the pulpits will not fail to take it up. America, once fully aroused to its enormities, your system's final and early downfall is sure as crack of doom. Hold on. Oh, excuse me. Let's see. America, once fully aroused to its enormities, your system's final and early downfall is sure as crack of doom. Oh, excuse me. I am respectfully Jeremiah J. Crowley. Wow. That was a long letter. Let me tell you what. He wrote that priest the book. Or father, or whatever you call him. Pope, whatever he is. Anyway, the next letter is Letter to All Civilized Peoples. Subject, Pope, Foe of Mankind. And it will be part 1. And I will do that later. All right, brothers and sisters. Keep your eyes on Jesus. Your nose in the book, which is the Word of God. And let us embed the Word of God upon the tablets of our hearts, so you and I will not sin against God or be deceived. Love you all. Bye-bye.